Evening. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the City Council to order, December 2nd. May we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Here.
Councilmember Chen?
Here.
Councilmember Yu?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mann?
Here.
Mayor Sternquist?
Here. Okay, thank you. We move to item 3, the invocation. Welcome, Pastor Kelty of Community of Christ Church, located at 5851 Temple City Boulevard. Services are on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. and all are welcome. Pastor?
Our Heavenly Creator, who is the source of all things, we, a few of your children, would come together into your presence to do this, the business of the city, Temple City. You are everywhere, so would reach into your presence. As we do this business for the city, we might do so with understanding and compassion and intelligence to bring to this city the opportunity for a better city. We would also pray for the staff and all those who support this council, that as they do their jobs with diligence, they too might be inspired by you to indeed to build this a better world, a better city and community. Oh, gathered in the audience, where the job of making this city is a better responsibility of all. May we, O Creator, do the best we can. Indeed, in future generations might look back to us and say, a job well done. This we say in closing an invitation. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Pastor, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have no ceremonial matters, so we move to item 6, public comments. On items not listed on the agenda, the City Council will now hear those regarding those items. Is there anyone who would like to speak on any items? Nope. I'm going to close the public comment. We move to item 7, consent calendar. All consent calendar items may be approved in a single motion as recommended unless removed for further discussion.
Motion to approve consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Mann?
Yes.
Mayor Sternquist?
Yes. Okay, that's been approved unanimously. We move to item 8, public hearing, second reading and adoption of ordinance number 25-1085, amending Title 7, Building Regulations of the Temple City Municipal Code, TCMC, to adopt by reference the 2025 California Building, Residential, Electrical, Mechanical, Plumbing, Energy, Historical Building, Existing Building, and Green Building Standard Codes, with certain amendments, additions, and deletions. Mr. Cook?
Well said, Mayor Sternquist. I'll turn it over to our Community Development Director, Mr. Reimers, just to give a brief overview why we're taking this approach and what this is doing, similar to what most cities in LA County are doing.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight's agenda is the second reading of this. We did the first reading back on November 18th, and that's when you set the public hearing for tonight's meeting. The item before you is the public hearing on this ordinance. It's ordinance 25-1085, and what we're proposing to do is amend Title 7, that's the section in which we have the building code and our own code, so that it reflects Title 24 of the California Building and Standards Codes. Every 3 years, the California Building Standards Commission updates the codes statewide. And as part of that update, the purpose is to improve safety, to improve sustainability, and to improve building performance across the state. So local jurisdictions can amend the state building codes when they adopt some appropriate findings. In the past, we've adopted the LA County Code amendments, and those were created in order to really address some specific things, and that's our hillsides, wild lands, and high wind conditions. Those conditions we don't really have in our community. We don't have the hillsides, so we don't have the wild lands or the high wind conditions that some sections of LA County do. So what we're proposing tonight is to adopt the state codes. I also wanted to let you know that recent legislation has placed a moratorium on new residential code changes, and that would prevent cities from adopting even stricter standards than the state standards. So given these factors, staff is recommending that the council adopt the 2025 California Building Standards Codes along with the specific local amendments necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our community. So to do that, we're proposing that you recommend, or we're recommending that you conduct the public hearing, read by title only, waive further reading of the ordinance, and adopt the ordinance 25-1085. And our building official, Dennis Tarango, is here if you have any specific questions about the code adoption or the recommendation that's before you.
Thank you. Dennis, I have a question. So it prevents cities from having stricter than the state standard.
Yes, absolutely, specifically for residential codes.
And what was that rationale from the state?
They're trying to promote
Housing?
Housing, exactly. They're trying to take down any barriers for new housing to be developed. And they saw that stricter codes could do that, make it more expensive, make it more difficult.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to council questions. Council member Yu?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I do have a question on local amendment.
Yes.
You know, we cannot adopt anything straighter than the state code, but what about this local amendment? What are we adopting here?
It's a great question. Our local amendments are administrative. We have the technical portions of the code, and then we have how do we administer the code, what requires a permit, what doesn't require a permit. Those are our local amendments, refunds. There's some small tweaks that we made to this code adoption that makes it a little bit more user-friendly.
Okay. Anything else?
I thought I saw this one thing, it talks about, in the staff report, on wood frame construction and so forth. Is that a local amendment we're adopting or not?
I think that was referencing wood frame construction for, what we're not adopting for the county.
Okay.
Is that the section? So the county does have provisions for wood frame construction, increasing or reducing the strength of hold downs, which in turn would make it more expensive for somebody to.
Meaning that you have to add more hold downs.
Add more hold downs,
Right.
make them larger, yes.
What's a hold down?
When you build a wood-framed structure, it's flexible. You want it to move with the earthquake.
Okay.
And there's certain sections you want it to be stronger so that the building performs in a certain way. So hold downs make it stronger in those sections, help make it stronger.
So are the options either steel or wood to build? What else is there?
You can have masonry, concrete.
Oh, wow.
There's other options. Wood, especially here in Southern California with our earthquakes, they perform the best, especially for residential.
Okay. Stay there in case.
Sure.
Councilmember Chen?
None at this time.
Councilmember Chavez?
Just a quick question on the historical building portion of this. I seem to think that do we have our own ordinances on historical buildings, or I seem to remember a few years ago, I don't know, Vince, if you
Not
remember.
well,
We
not
were looking
specific-
at that at one point.
Not specific to building codes for those historic buildings, but I believe we do for zoning and.
So that has nothing to do with this, then, I guess.
Right, so
Okay.
if we at any point wanted to create a historic preservation, either landmark site or a district, then those properties could then just use this historical building code that provides some additional flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now, we don't have that in the city.
So what we did before, as I recall, was we did a survey.
Yeah, I remember we
We've
did a
done
survey,
the
we're
sort
thinking
of a
about
historic resource
doing that.
survey, but we have decided not to act on it and
Yeah, that
create a
was,
new code.
geez, that was more than 10, 15 years ago. I think it was a long time ago. All right, thank you.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Do we have homes that are using the Mills Act in our city for historical homes?
No.
No.
No, is that still something that's available to homeowners?
We would need to adopt an ordinance to make that available.
Okay, and so we have no ordinance regarding really anything with historical residential homes, correct?
Right, and you'd have to, and this is a little off the topic here, so I don't want to go too far down that road, but you would have to adopt a historic district, a landmark district, and you have to go through that whole entire process in
So it's
order
an
to.
actual district, not an individual home.
You could do a district, or you could do a historic preservation ordinance that would deal with individual properties. In either case, in order to meet the Brown Act and tie this back to what's in front of us, one of the key things that you have in that situation is use of the historical building code, because it streamlines some things and it makes it easier. Another thing is, as you said, the Mills Act can be another benefit. Happy to talk about that offline after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, yes, thank you, Mayor. So regarding I know we typically don't adopt the green energy portion.
From the county.
For the county.
Yes.
Could you just explain sort of the perspective and the rationale behind that?
So, the county does a really good job of setting amendments. Some of them are specific to hillside communities, high wind areas. But the Green Building Code typically is used as the council or the county's approach to wanting to make it more efficient, more sustainable. There's some initiatives that the county had that go along and are the Green Building Code are a tool to help them get there. So there's amendments that increase the efficiency of roofs. There's a lot of things that they're very specific to the county's need to want to be above the state's minimum requirements.
Okay, and I guess in that sense, those amendments don't clash or conflict with AB 130?
So,
Or was it done before the passage
so
of?
you're absolutely correct. There are some exceptions to AB 130, and if there are amendments that you had in place prior to AB 130 being enacted, then you can continue those. You just cannot make new amendments.
Okay, that makes sense. And regarding the moratorium, is there a sunset date on when the moratorium ends, or does the law basically says this moratorium is in place until the state decides to take further action on the matter?
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that question.
That's all right. We can get back to you on that question.
Okay, that, I don't think it has as much maybe impact on our decision here tonight, but I think it would just be good to know, because I think part of the thing that's difficult for us to navigate as policymakers is what restrictions are kind of in place in terms of what we can do and what we can't do. And so to me, a moratorium that has no sunset date would be a little troubling.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot about local control, and that basically says you guys can't do anything. And my final question is, I know we're excluding the LA County amendments to the code. In terms of cities around our area, roughly, do we get a sense of basically how many cities are kind of following suit because it doesn't apply to them in the same way it doesn't apply to us?
Yeah, we did survey, I think it was 10 or 11 different cities, and all but one were adopting the state code requirements and not the LA County code requirements.
I see, okay. And do you remember what that one?
I think it was
city
La Cañada, Flintridge.
Oh, and they're a hillside
Yeah,
community,
they are.
so that makes sense. Okay, thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. I'd like to, if there open the public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on this? Okay, close public hearing. Can I have a motion for this item, please?
Mayor, I would move that we proceed with a second reading by title only and waive further reading of ordinance 25-1085, adopting by reference the 2025 California Building, Residential, Electrical, Mechanical, Plumbing, and Energy, Historical Building, Existing Building, and Green Building Standard Codes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. May we have a council roll call, please?
Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilmember Chen?
Yes.
Councilmember Yu?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Man?
Yes.
Mayor Sternquist?
Yes. Okay, we move to item 9. There is no unfinished business. There is no new business. And we move to our update from our city manager, Brian Cook. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor Sternquist and members of the council. Just for a few minutes tonight, and we'll try not to bore anyone, kind of an update on the liability trust fund for the County of Los Angeles. So you've given me the privilege of sitting on the LA County Liability Trust Fund Claims Board and voted on by, and that is 42 cities who contract out with the LA County Sheriff's Department and including the LA County Public Works Department as well. What the board's responsibility is to resolve liability claims on their own with the authority up to $100,000. Anything, a claim above $100,000 actually is a recommendation from the Liability Trust Fund Board and is a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. What does this all mean at the end of the day for us? The board, again, represents all 42 contract cities in LA County. For contracting out with the LA County Sheriff's Department, we pay a insurance premium, for lack of a better term. It's called a surcharge. That surcharge is 12.5% of the base of the contract. So for every $1 million of a contract, we pay about $125,000 for an insurance premium. And that is paid for claims that are directly related to the activities within a contract city. There's something called a 3-point test and other provisions of the code. You may remember last year, we all 42 contract cities enter into a 5-year agreement with the County of Los Angeles, and there are some provisions within that contract that lay out what the liability responsibilities and provisions are for both the contract cities and the County of Los Angeles. This board, which was created in the early 2000s, was a way in which the contract cities could have some level of discussion with the county and some influence and some control over the liability claims that came in related to contract city work. If I can report back to you too, every year, just similar to how we do our audit here, the Liability Trust Fund hires CJPIA to help with the risk management services for the board. We work in collaboration with both the County of Los Angeles' County Council and the Sheriff's Department and the County CEO's office to administer this program. As you can guess, and two of the council members sit on the JPIA boards for with different entities, the cost of insurance has skyrocketed in the last few years. It has made things very challenging and difficult. But due to the collaboration between not only us, but the LA County Sheriff's Department and the work of CJPIA, we are able to structure a plan and an insurance pool plan. We essentially buy insurance out in the marketplace. For those catastrophic high-level claims that may come in. So right now, every year, what we do is to try to assess where the liability trust fund is in terms of its liability. What exposure does it have? What claims do we know we have today? What can we have a reasonable projection on with claims that have been incurred but not reported, kind of projecting out to the future? As we stand right now, the liability trust fund is very solvent. It has about $170 million in the bank today to pay for claims that exist and are not reported, but will be incurred at a later date. The frequency of claims has gone down as well.
May I just ask a question on that?
Yes, sir.
Maybe right now it's 170, but what is the trend? I would like to see the trend line.
Sure. Thank you, Councilmember Yu. That's a great point. So the trend has gone up as much as the surcharge has gone up.
You know,
I don't have
funds
it
has
in.
gone up, funds has gone up, or claims has gone up, which,
Interestingly enough, the frequency of claims has leveled off. What has happened is the value of those claims has increased. So that is part of the challenge that that all insurance pools have right now. So that, I don't have it in front of me, but that 170 was less 3 years ago. And just to provide a more historical perspective, the surcharge of 12.5%, which we charge today, in 2011 was 4%. And you're charging that premium based on how many, the claims frequency, the value of the claims going forward. So it has been a challenge for the last few years. It has leveled off in the last 3 years, staying at about 12.5% for the last 3 years, but it did skyrocket in cost. And we've seen that throughout every level of insured activity and liability that every entity, business, nonprofit, and governmental has had across the board.
Brian,
Yes, ma'am.
that 12.5 surcharge is not stagnant and it can change yearly?
Thank you for asking that question, Mayor Sternquist. It has been stagnant for the last couple of years. It's only gone up 0.5%, but is based on what the actuarial study shows. If the actuarial study shows that you are below a certain expected level of confidence in how much funding you have or how much cash you have in the bank to pay for the claims that you know you have now and what will be could be incurred in the future, that then could trigger an increase. The last 2 years, it's leveled out a little bit more. Where the last 3 years total, it's only been about 0.5% increase. So, and that is really attributable to a couple things. One, working well with the LA County Sheriff's Department, because our highest frequency of claims is auto liability claims, crashes. And as we know in our own lives with automobile insurance, because of how expensive it is to repair a car, what was just a fender bender before, which could have cost maybe a couple $1,000s, is now $20,000, $40,000, $50,000. So those claims, then those frequencies of those claims have stayed steady, but the value of those claims have increased over time. So that's one of the challenges that the Liability Trust Fund Board has. So, but for the council and every all 42 contract cities to rest assured about is that there is a stable funding source, and the financial solvency of the Liability Trust Fund is in good shape. There is enough funding to go forward to pay for all the claims that we know today, and what we project those claims could grow in the future.
So would one be fair to interpret that then that the 12.5% is going to remain there for at least the foreseeable future? Or has there been any discussion about that? Because I can remember when it was 4% and it was going up dramatically, which obviously it has over the past few years. What does the future look like as far as that contribution?
With the experience of this council and the longevity of what you've seen and what this council has adjusted to over the last decade as well, I think, generally speaking, could it go up? Yes. Is it going to go up as dramatically as it has in the last 15 years? I don't think so. I think so could it go up to 13, maybe 13 and a half? Possibly. The actuarial studies will have to determine that, but the dramatic increase that we've seen in the last 10 to 12 to 15 years, if you're asking me for my prediction, I don't think it'll go up at that rate.
Well, and the same with the JPIA is it's claims driven, obviously. Okay, and so the idea is to reduce the amount of claims, which it seems that we have. It's just that the problem, I think the question was asked earlier, the severity of the claims is getting bigger. We have less claims, but those claims are bigger. And, you know, when you say we have 170 million kind of stashed away, knowing what we know on JPIA, that's not a whole lot of money sometimes. It may seem like a lot of money, 170 million to us, but when you start talking lawsuits and things that happen, it can go pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And we use, and I know JPIA's, the boards that you and Mayor Sternquist sit on, we use the top-notch actuarial in the country, Milliman actuarials.
Right.
They are literally the gold standard of actuarial services. And it's public information. Anybody can look at it. It's there. Yeah, it could, but again, I'm going to credit both CJPIA staff for helping us find the insurance beyond what's called our self-insured retention level. Don't want to get too technical. What we pay essentially is our deductible. And getting that additional insurance beyond that has been incredibly helpful for that number of 170 million for the board and JPIA staff to be confident that it keeps us financially solvent.
May I? Because just to Councilmember Chavez's point, I mean, put it in layman's or plain English perhaps. So there's insurance on top of the 170 million that help.
I'll very briefly explain.
Right.
Thank you, Councilmember Yu. So essentially what all 42 contract cities do is we essentially self-insure, or we have a deductible, right? It's going to sound like a big number, but that deductible is a $10 million deductible per occurrence. Anything above that amount is actually layered by insurance policies by different providers, and up to about $50 million. So everybody's insured. So part of that increase that you're seeing is to deal with it's like your auto insurance. You're choosing the fact that your insurance premium is going to be much higher if you have a $250 deductible rather than a $1,000 deductible. And because of what's happened in the insurance market has really dictated that deductible needed to go up further. And so the policies that we could buy that JPIA staff working with the county could buy needed to have a level of incentive for the insurance market to essentially fund and underwrite those policies. So it has been a challenge for the last, and this is nothing that all 5 of you don't know and haven't been briefed on before too, but it's been a challenge. But I think, to Councilmember Chavez's question, we are in a stable place right now, and that level of exponential growth that you saw over several years, and when I would come back to you during the budget process saying, well, we went up another %, we went up another 1.5%, I think we're in a much more stable place. Hope that answered your question, sir.
I think so.
I have a question about what you just discussed. This might be a loaded question, but is there any discussion within that sphere about kind of the bigger picture of, say, tort reform and its impact on the valuation of claims against agencies? Because you're talking about the valuation of these settlements, or I don't know what the legal term is, but that value seems to have gone up, and my layman's understanding is that there really is no cap.
Yeah, that's Mayor Pro Tem Min, that's an excellent question, and actually JPIA is on the forefront of looking for that as well. I know the County of Los Angeles too, the county CEO's office and others are looking to legislation on the state level to put some reasonable parameters with tort reform of capping those essentially, for lack of a better term, layman's terms, payouts that can respect the harm and the injuries that have occurred, but not go in. They call them kind of runaway juries and runaway verdicts and payouts that happen. And so there has been discussions. There's nothing formally in a piece of legislation yet in Sacramento, but there's discussions. I know the CJPIA's CEO, Alex Smith, is very much trying to work with the league and others to see if that can be something that can work through this legislative process.
Yeah, and that discussion has come up with the executive committee, and we're certainly behind that. And you're correct, there are currently no caps, but there are certain immunities and, of course, defenses that we look at in these types of cases as well. And of course, that needs to be, I think, strengthened a little bit as well, which would certainly have a big impact on the amount of monies that are payable by not only the liability trust fund, but the cities as well that participate in that. So.
And it seems when it comes to the sheriff's department, if it's not auto claims, it's a personnel claim. Same with CJPIA of claims that come before us. Seems that juries are not sympathetic to law enforcement.
That is another challenge that, that's coming forward, and a lot of times when claims are being settled at high levels, or high dollar amounts, which can be, you know, you can be a bit frustrating, but there's some business decisions that are being made because of the environment that is allowing for these cases to run in the high seven figures, sometimes even eight-figure numbers. So, thank you for allowing, if you don't.
And not necessarily just to beat on the LA County Sheriff, but there are other police, city police agencies that have the same problem. I mean,
It's across
it's
the
just
board. It's
across the
public
board
safety.
everywhere. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, hopefully with education, with just being a little bit careful, and we can see an improvement. And there has been, I think, for the most part, but still a long ways to go, unfortunately, so.
So, and we have, working in partnership with the LA County Sheriff's Department, the Risk Management Bureau of the LA County CEO's office, and our technical advisor that we lean on, Paul Zeglovich and Alex Smith of CJPIA. So we're in a place where we feel as though we are performing our fiduciary responsibility. And thank you for your attentiveness to this issue, as you always have, and thank you for letting me sit on that board as well.
I can't remember when did CJPIA get involved with that?
About the time that it was created, so the early 2000s.
Was it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you had any other questions?
Mayor, I do have one question, this is a clarification question. You mentioned about 12.5%.
Yes, sir.
So 12.5% of the sheriff contract?
Yes.
So more service from sheriff department, meaning bigger premium?
Exactly. So
Okay.
when we increase the budget of the sheriff's department, either through their increase in just their general rates or more services,
So-
we have to pay that
So
premium.
there's no talk like, you know, with our JBIA, for example, if the loss is lower, then you would think that the premium should be lower, right? So, but this is treated across the board, every city is treated the same, regardless of loss rates. Am I right?
You're absolutely right, sir. That's everybody's, all 42 contract cities.
It's a pool,
are-
It's a pool,
so that's.
We're all one big happy family.
absolutely. So, okay.
Happier more sometimes than others, but,
Any other questions for Brian?
And then just one quick announcement. Friday, Lights on TC, one of our biggest events. 7 o'clock is the parade, but festivities will be happening before then. So Las Tunas will be closed for a period of time. We put all our nixle and our information as that. So it's one of our biggest events. We enjoy doing it, and look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank you, Mayor Sternquist.
Thank you. Okay, update from our city attorney, Greg Murphy.
None tonight, thank you.
Okay. Council reports regarding ad hoc or standing committee meetings. Do we have any?
So Mayor Sternquist and I were part of the future development of city property at 5003 Serrano Drive Ad Hoc Committee. We met earlier this week with our Parks and Rec Director, Adam Matsumoto, and SWA to discuss the feedback from the recent community meetings. It was a very constructive meeting. They shared updated plans on that incorporated a lot of community feedback. There were some changes, although I'll say that I don't think they were major significant changes to the point where the mayor and I felt a need to go back to the drawing board. There were some issues we brought up to suggest that SWA and our park staff consider before the matter comes back for full council discussion. But the status of that as of now is that we're progressing in the right direction. They're going to bring some answers back to some of the questions we have about specific park elements. And then I believe after that, they would be ready to bring it back for full council discussion.
Wasn't there going to be another community-wide thing going on? I know we had a couple of at the site, but I thought there was going to be a third or a fourth, was there?
I believe there was one by
Was there a
Zoom,
big one?
wasn't there?
Other than, I know I went to 2 at the site. Was there any more besides that?
I don't think we have any other
Plan.
schedule,
Okay,
planned
so
at
it's
this
just gonna
point.
be
It was just those
Those
two.
affecting the area in particular.
Well, one was specifically geared towards the neighborhood, and then one was community-wide. But we
Right.
wanted to make sure the neighborhood had, that they had kind of the first take of, considering the impacts are going to be.
But both were at the site.
Both were at the site,
So
yes.
we're not planning on doing one like at Live Oak Park or something like that for everybody to come to.
No, we don't.
Okay.
I'd rather have people at the site so they can kind
All
of
right, yeah,
see
of
it,
course.
feel it, touch it.
All right.
We did take survey information.
I think we have been taking it
Yes,
online.
we have been
On
taking
Live
survey.
Oak Park.
Yes. Survey information has
shared
been
with you guys
ongoing.
too then, as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the one, again, since we're talking about fiduciary responsibility, one of the encouraging things to hear is that we are actively pursuing a grant for the design and construction costs for this. And that seems like it should align somewhat with how we want to push for construction as soon as possible, but of course, we won't know until we go through that process. But at least we know, we appreciate staff keeping that in mind, because that's always been council's direction, is whenever we do any sort of capital projects that is coming out of general fund potentially, is that we go after outside money. And so that was encouraging to hear.
Right. Okay. Vincent, do you want to talk about our meeting with H, item H, argument in favor? We met, but we did
Yeah.
it through communication,
Yeah,
not
thank you,
physical
Mayor. So I
meeting.
can talk about that. So the mayor and I, being on the ad hoc on the, work on the argument in favor of the transaction and use tax measure. So we have been communicating via, email and phone call and so forth. So we have, solidified the argument and have submitted and also secured support from 3 other community members. And we have submitted that to the city clerk, so we are ready to, so we're good. This measure is good to be, I guess, to be officially on the ballot.
So do we wait another meeting to dismantle that since we accomplished, Greg, the task?
I think I would, in case an argument in opposition comes in, then the
Okay.
ad hoc would do the rebuttal. So
Got
I
it.
would wait one more meeting.
Okay, thank you.
I thought that was ending, when does that end? I thought it was today.
Today at 5.
At 5.
The deadline was today at 5.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
So still just
Let's hold it
this
for
one more meeting?
one more meeting.
Okay. All right, item 14, council items separate from the city manager's regular agenda. Councilmember Chavez?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Nope.
Just looking forward to Friday night. Should be
Okay.
fun.
Councilmember Chen?
I'll just add very quickly, I'm also looking forward to Friday night, and it just occurred to me, last year, shortly after I was sworn to this body, we had a tragic event that happened in our city where a wrong-way DUI driver killed young Sabrina and her mother. The Mother Against Drunk Driving organization had reached out, and they have an annual campaign in the first week of December that marks the beginning of the holiday season. They request that major landmarks throughout California be lit up in red in commemoration and education because of the frequency of drunk and drug driving's occurrence during the holiday season, that the major landmarks be lit up in red. So in our quiet Temple City way, we participated And this year, they actually featured one of the locations in Temple City, the Temple City High School, in their promotional reel. So it just occurred to me that this year's the Mother Against Drunk Driving Illuminate Red campaign falls on this Friday, the night of the lights on Temple City. So just want to thank staff, Brian Cook, and I know Jesse, as well as others that tested it, made it work last year. And I think if residents see that our city halls lit up red, to know that there's some significance there. And I think the school district has done a great job too, in participating with their, I think their LED lights that they have since installed. Again, just looking forward to Friday night, and if we could do some kind of a education outreach, I think just a light acknowledgement. I think the organization has done quite a lot statewide to bring awareness to the issue, and I'm just very glad that our city staff and our school district kind of jumped to it.
Thank you. Councilmember Yu?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too look forward to Friday event. I just want to add a note on the liability trust fund, and to Mr. Cook's point that one of the major payout had been vehicular accidents and all. So this is a side story because I'm somewhat involved with this project. The Sheriff Department had been trying very, very hard to build a permanent emergency vehicle operations center, which is basically big racetracks. I think Councilmember Chen can explain how that works much better than I could. We just built them. So for years, the what we call EVOC, Emergency Vehicle Operations Center, have been over at Pomona Fairground. As you know, when there are events and stuff, the place had to be shut down. So it's not like 365 days training ground. So the county had invested in this new Emergency Vehicle Operations Center. It's open in 2022. And coincidentally, I just want to mention, because it coincides with Mr. Cook's a comment about the auto accidents rate had been stable or reduced. So I think the county actually tried, and Sheriff Department had really tried to do a better job in training staff. So I would hope that the accident rate would stay stable or lower because of now that the new facility has opened.
I'll just add that that was a very nice new facility that not only the Sheriff's Department, but in the last 2 years where I work at a allied or small cities police agency, we were sent there for PIT training and emergency vehicle training on that ground too. So thank you, Councilman.
Where is it located?
Santa Clarita.
Oh, Santa Clarita.
Yeah. It looks like a big racetrack. Yeah.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, I think we are always excited for Lights on TC, and I know park staff always does a fantastic job, so certainly looking forward to that. Since our last meeting, I just want to mention we did have a nice turnout for our Commissioner Appreciation dinner, and so I just want to thank them again for attending, bringing their family, and we all appreciate very much the service that they provide to our community. I also want to thank TransTech for responding to a request from our Longdon Elementary School administration. As we know, traffic and public safety, pedestrian safety has always been an issue. So they did everyone a solid by taking a fresh look at some of the concerns over at Longdon. I know Councilmember Chavez and I, being on the school district standing committee, that's always been an item that's always in discussion. So I also want to thank our city manager for setting that up and just taking a fresh look, because what I took away from that meeting was the last time we really looked at that was almost 10 years ago. And granted, some of those measures appear to have been implemented and worked, but of course, things change, things are dynamic, so it's always worthwhile to take a fresh look at those situations. So thank you very much. And also, looking forward, I think next Friday, next Thursday, not this Thursday, the chamber is having a holiday mixer, right?
I think it's Wednesday, isn't it?
Isn't it here?
It's next Thursday.
Is it next Thursday? I thought it was a Wednesday.
But that's in the evening?
No, 5:30.
5:30.
It's here at the
The
Yeah,
patio, right?
patio area, yeah.
Yeah, so the same spot that they usually have their Friday legislative
Right.
luncheons. That's a nice spot to
It is
host
nice.
it. So I think for those who are interested, please definitely try to make it. The chamber usually does a pretty good job.
Okay,
Wait a minute, this, talking about the chamber mixer, right?
Yeah, it's the 11th, I believe.
I have on mine, it's Tuesday, December 10th, is that incorrect? Or no, December 11th,
Yeah, December.
okay, which is Thursday, yeah. They changed it, originally when it first sent it out, it said December 10th.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed that too. But
That's
when you
probably-
click on the
that's a
link,
typo.
it
But then
actually takes
but
you
it's
to it.
December 11th.
11th,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, which would be a week from Thursday, yeah.
all right. I'd just like to share that the banners look great on Las Tunas, the Christmas banners, and in the parks. So thank you so much for doing that. I love it. So thank you for that. Looking forward to Friday night to seeing Tom's granddaughter, maybe grandson, I don't know.
Grandson this
depend on-
time, yeah.
And your kids and.
No,
That's
my
not this
grandson's not coming this time, so.
Okay.
You know,
Maybe I'll-
but you're right, I think what makes that event so great and the fact that staff does such a great job, it really is for the families and the children, and we have such a great turnout with,
So much
with the
fun.
kids.
It really is.
And it's gonna be cool, but not cold, but it'll be nice because they'll have the ice maker out.
Yes.
Toboggan, you know.
And I will fight with Santa to flip the switch.
There you go.
Okay, any, item 15, any additional public comments from anyone in the audience? No? Okay, with that, is this a record, Greg?
No way.
I
We
think,
set-
I think
Remember,
we
we
have,
set that when he wasn't here. That was the
that's
reason
right.
why, he's not here until it goes along.
Brian's fault.
Brian,
Long.
all right, we are adjourned.